Hello, I'd like to introduce you to Sam 2. This is a student auscultation mannequin. Sam has a number of features that are helpful for a student. The first is that you can use your own stethoscope with Sam. Using a standard acoustic stethoscope, place your stethoscope in any one of the normal acoustic listening places and you will hear the correct sound. For group teaching, we oftentimes use the simulscope, which is this product right here. This is an infrared transmitter, and it allows teaching of large groups, like a classroom of 20 or 25 individuals. The way this will operate is you'll place this on Sam, or it can be placed on a patient. This is battery operated and can be taken to the bedside. The sounds are heard by the student by wearing one of these infrared headphones. This is called the Hartman infrared headphone. The infrared will come from in here into this little window. And you turn it on by a thumb wheel switch on the side, which will let you adjust the volume. So we'll place this on Sam. And I can now hear the sounds, like in your heart and breath sounds simultaneously. Now, if you looking at the monitor, you have the advantage of being able to see a phonocardiogram with every sound. Currently, we are listening to the sound of aortic. We're looking at atrial septal defect. So you're seeing a fixed splitting of the second sound. You'll see that in yellow, and in blue you'll see the breath sounds. So you see heart and breath sounds at the same time. To change from one position to another, I simply take the mouse, move it to the correct anatomical position, and then I will hear that same sound, but it will be different because it's at the aortic area or the tricuspid area or the mitral area. Listening to breath sounds, I click on the right lower lung, and you can see the breath sounds are shown on the monitor at the same time. Looking over here, you'll see the name of the sound. This is atrial septal defect. If I want to compare atrial septal defect to another sound, I would simply click here and select another sound. I'll put on aortic stenosis, and then just simply double click on it, and now you have aortic stenosis. So it's very easy for me to place the stethoscope here, and I'm listening now to atrial septal defect at the aortic area. Let's put it at the pulmonic area. And you'll see the fixed splitting of the second sound, and now we're playing aortic stenosis now, so we want to compare that with atrial septal defect. We simply click on that sound. So, and we're going to compare that, put it at the correct spot. Now for the student, we have a lesson right here for every sound. So by clicking on the lesson tab, this will bring up a complete lesson on atrial septal defect or any other sound that the student is listening to. This lesson has a discussion. It has a schematic of the chest showing where best to listen, and then it gives you a series of phonocardiograms so you'll know what you should be hearing at each location, and then it gives you a series of questions and answers. Now, in case the student forgets what he is forgets his basic auscultation, there's a basic auscultation lecture which occurs on every sound. And this is a longer lesson, but covers all the basics of cardiac auscultation. As I said, every sound has a lesson, including lung sounds and vowel sounds. Now, for the instructor, we can set set up a lecture. So I'll begin by we have a sample lecture set up here, so we'll go ahead and select that. Now you can see down here we have a lecture in process. So to change from one sound to the next, we simply click on the advance arrow, and the next sound will come up. This is now atrial septal defect at the aortic area. I'll click on it again. You'll see we're now on sound 3, which is normal breath sounds. And this is simply a demonstration of the capabilities. Now we're on physiological splitting. You can also listen at different places. Physiological splitting of the second sound has a splitting of the second sound during inspiration, and during expiration that split closes. You can see that on the monitor, and you can hear it on SAM. So with SAM you have the ability to not only listen to sounds, but you also have the ability to feel a systolic thrill in certain sounds. We have two thrills. A thrill is a sound that you will feel with the palm of your hand. We have a thrill of severe aortic stenosis, and you'll feel it here with the palm of your hand, with this part of your hand. The thrill will radiate up into the neck. If you place a stethoscope on the neck, you'll also hear severe aortic stenosis in the neck. We also have a thrill for ventricular septal defect, which will be heard right here in the tricuspid area. SAM also has a carotid pulse in the neck. This is placed here so that with fast heart sounds, the student can feel where the onset of systole begins. The onset of systole begins with S1, and the pulse is very close to S1. If you can zoom in, you can see my finger pulsing a little bit. And the SAM has 27 heart sounds at the correct anatomical location. He has 20 breath sounds. You can listen both in the anterior chest, in the upper chest, and the lower chest. Also on the back. There are 4 listening places there. You can separate the lungs left and right, and also upper and lower, so that you can have diminished breath sounds down here, normal breath sounds here, if desired. If you want to listen to a pneumothorax, you can turn off the sounds on this side and listen on this side, or vice versa. For listening to vowel sounds, there are 2 vowel sound listening places in the upper left and right quadrants. And there are 20 vowel sounds. Going back to sounds of the heart, you'll also have 4 bruit sounds. Bruits are murmur-like sounds that occur in the neck, and you'll feel them right here. You only feel that on one side because we have a speaker on one side and we have a carotid pulse on the other. SAM gives you a complete course in cardiac, pulmonary, and bowel auscultation. You have all of the sounds you can select by menu. You can see every sound on the screen. You can play heart sounds and lung sounds at the same time, so you'll hear them just as you would on a real patient. Congestive heart failure, for example, you'd hear an S3 probably in the mitral area,